and we are on the way into our car wash. Why? Because Rochester has a terrible problem with crows, and they decided to dive bomb my truck. So hopefully this will do the trick, because I don't want my paint damaged, and I certainly don't want white streaks up and down the sides of my truck any longer.
Down on my luck, I feel like a fool. Can't shoot straight when I go shoot pool.
This week's going to be a late release for a couple of reasons. One is, as I'm sure many of you know, I've been in quarantine due to COVID for the last couple of weeks. Well, the good news is I just got my last negative test and I am no longer in quarantine, so that opens up some opportunities. We've got some new parts that came in for the Street Glide, and I am preparing to go on a small getaway with members of my band. So that's coming up and I'm looking forward to it. It means I'm somewhat in a rush, and we've been doing a couple of presentations as of late, and I have one coming up right after I get back. So I'm in a rush to try to prepare that stuff so that I don't feel compelled to do it while I'm away trying to relax. Additionally, the tank work that Andrea's been doing is now in clear coat, and she's working on the fender. So we're going to have to get back to that bobber here shortly, because I'm going to be ready to put the tanks on. And of course, if I've been on quarantine, so is this one. Say hi. Can you say hi to everybody? She wants to go. Yeah, well, we can't go just yet. Can you say hi? There you go. Well, we went to Harley. I stayed in the car. Got this nifty, well, I've had this nifty helmet latch for my highway bar for a while. We got some replacement screws. The ones that came with it were security screws, which I have the security bits, but that's kind of a pain. And I guess my thought is, if somebody wants to go to the trouble of unscrewing this thing, they can have the helmet. Mostly I just wanted something to hang my helmet off the bike. And when I get the highway bars, the highway pegs put on the highway bars, it'll hold the helmet out away from the fairing and from the front fender, which is one of the reasons we went over to the shop. I went and got the pullback pegs, so that'll help that. And there was a deal being run where if you spent a certain amount, you could get a Harley duffel bag. And I sent Amanda in with the monies. She came out with this, which Buddy and I have been eyeballing. And I actually need it in the garage, so this is nice. Sorry, Kurt, I ended up with it. This will be my mass confession to the world that indeed I ended up with it. And so I'll come back out later this afternoon. I'm actually going to go inside and sit down for a little bit, have myself a cold beverage. We'll come back out and put the pegs on with the pullbacks tonight. I was just explaining to Amanda that the chief purser on the Love Boat, also known as the Gopher, is Fred Grandy, who is actually a member of the U.S. House of Representatives later in his life for the glorious state of Iowa. Now, there's a lot of Hollywood guys from the state of Iowa. Let's kind of think about this for a minute. Just from my hometown area, we have Doug Barr from The Fall Guy. We have Ashton Kutcher. I think everybody remembers and knows who he is, Elijah Wood, and I think that's the same deal. People should know who that is. Going into football, we have Kurt Warner, and the guy from Office Space, and I should know his name, and Space, and he's actually one of my favorite actors between Office Space and Band of Brothers. Anyway, there's a lot of cool talent that comes out of Iowa. Travel bag that I wound up with, and it's pretty cool. It's a nice little duffel bag, and it has straps that can turn it into a backpack. It would be super killer if it had a way to put it on my Softail Slim, and we did actually order a set of Onyx tail bag for the Softail Slim, but this one isn't that, but that's coming. Kind of reminds me, honestly, of some of my rucksacks in a way. This will be super nice to throw into saddlebag or the bike. Typically, I put an extra bag in my tea bag when I tour, just in case I pick up something unexpected, and that duffel bag is probably just the ticket, because even if I can't strap it on to the bike, looks like I can strap it onto my back, and I won't make a habit of that because a lot of my trips are 1,000 miles, but in a pinch or in an emergency, it would be a good thing. And it's very possible for this bike that I'll end up looking for a cargo box. I've kind of fought it for a really long time. I actually like the rack and able to use my upright tea bag. In many ways, I think it actually stores more, but just general tooling around and stuff, even on the longer trips, if I'm only going for a few days, I think that's where it's at. And I don't have passengers riding with me typically, so I can put a rucksack in the passenger seat. So we'll look at that and see if a touring box makes sense. I think it would look really sharp on this bike. And just for comparison, here is no lower on this side because I haven't put it on yet. And there's the lower on this side. And I think it really dresses up the bike. And while I'm discussing it, I think another thing I might do is I put on a cheap Daymaker clone from Amazon, and it's rattling pretty good. I actually am thinking about getting a blacked out halo, and I think I might do that. And then I'm going to put a new collar on the front too. And I did indeed buy a halo maker from Hogworks for the headlight replacement, and also picked up a new drink carrier. We'll take a look at those probably next week's episode. It'll be interesting. I've got a similar pair of Willie G pegs. The one that was on this are now going to the 883. But I got brand new shackles and a brand new set of pegs that might go on this. And I've been looking, I don't know that it needs to happen this season dirty right now because of the floor, but I've been looking at the brake pedal as well as the floorboards, and I've been thinking about switching them out. I actually was at one of the dealers and saw they had the Willie G foot pegs, or the floorboards, so we might go and do that. Anyway, all in all, she's about ready to do touring, and I'm hoping that we get the opportunity here real soon. And I guess the final thing I have to figure out is if I don't do a helmet-mounted camera, which I'm not thinking I will do, but we'll see, where in the world will I put a GoPro on here? More to come. episode. Because right now, I'm beginning to pack. See, every year I go to the Black Hills at least once. This year I get the privilege of going multiple times. And members of my band and I are headed out there just to relax. They've actually not been out there outside of Sturgis. So it'll be a good opportunity to take in some of the scenes. There's a little bit of talk of tattoos, perhaps, and I'll be picking up at least one or two Deadwood T-shirts. So I've decided that I'm gonna GoPro mount to my helmet, and hopefully I'll come back with some footage of South Dakota. And there they are, the new highway tags, and I put the helmet lock on the bike as well. And those were actually way easier to install than the other ones. I brought the longest pullback I could, and actually it works out pretty nice. I wasn't sure I was going to dig that, but what it does is it allows me a few different feet positions. I like to ride the Sportsters like this. I can now do that here. I can bring my foot up here. And I can even put it up like that and straighten my leg completely out. So a few different positions. Bar extensions are a success. And now I'm waiting on a new headlight. I did the Halo Maker, actually the Hogworks version. Should be here, I think, in the next few days, but I'm going to move on. I've got another bike that I'm going to do some work on today as well. And that's where I'm going to end it today. So I know it's a shorter episode, and I am sorry for that. But I promise next time that I get to the vlog, there will be way more content and more interesting places. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to have time between now and when we leave to stage up another episode for next weekend. So if you don't see one on Sunday, there'll probably be a couple of them that come out the following week. It just is a matter of whether or not I have the time to put something together and push it out. As I said, I'm working on a couple of different presentations, some for work, some for my fraternity, and it's just taking a lot of time to get everything ready before I go. So, in the meantime, please click like, click the bell, hit subscribe. Feel free to leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from some of you. I know some of these videos tend to jump around. I've been told by some of my friends that's some of the charm. But I would love to hear your ideas. Help me grow viewership. Give me ideas of things you'd like to hear about or see. And in the meantime, as I always leave you, please remember to stop and see the beautiful things that are around you every day.